Lightroom provides support for managing and editing video clips, along with your still images. And in this video, I'll show you how to make the most of this support for videos. So we're in the library module, and I can tell this is a video clip because, first of all, you can see a time stamp associated with it. And also, when I move my cursor over the thumbnail, I can actually scroll left and right and see the video play. Now down at the bottom, I can also tell it's a video just by the MPEG-4 extension. So I'm looking at the video in the grid view, but I can also select the loop view here at the bottom in the toolbar, or I can double click on the thumbnail and see the full-size version of the video. I'm going to go ahead and play the video by hitting this play button here, and you can see it play out in real time in the Lightroom preview window. Okay, so once we have the video in Lightroom, what can we do with it? Well, if you look over here on the right to the Quick Develop panel, you can see that we can actually apply some Quick Develop settings to this video. We can start with white balance if we want. We can change the white balance. We can do an auto white balance, or we can come over here and manually change the white balance through these buttons here. Now I'm going to go ahead and reset that down there just like I would reset any Quick Develop settings. And I want to show you can also apply an auto tone to the video. Now you can see over here in the navigator it's applying it immediately. It takes some time to render it to the actual video file, but over here it's showing up immediately. I can also change the exposure. See that happening over there in the navigator. Contrast, whites, blacks, and vibrance. But notice that highlights, shadows, and clarity are grayed out. We can't apply those settings to video in Lightroom. So let me reset all. One more thing that's really cool is under the Saved Preset options. There's a bunch of Lightroom video presets that ship with Lightroom. So we can turn this into a classic black and white look if we want by just selecting that. And we can also create our own user presets, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. But if you do use a develop module setting that isn't applicable to the video, let me show you an example here, will not apply to video. So all these different settings here are the only ones that can be applied to the video. The other ones outside of this area will not be able to be applied to the video. And this will be relevant when you create your own video preset in the develop module, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. Okay, so once you've applied a preset or adjusted the white balance or the tonal controls, the other thing that you can do with video in Lightroom is you can create a new start point and a new end point. So if your video is too long and you want to make it really short, let's go ahead and do that with this one. It's hard, you don't see any controls here right away, but if you come over here to the right, this little gear that you see here, and it says click to trim video. I'm going to click on it right now. And this brings up a timeline. You can see as I scroll around in the timeline, it's reflected in the larger preview as well. Now I'm going to find a point where I want to start the video. That is not useful. Let's go forward a little bit more, right there. Right when she starts to enter the frame. Now to make that the new start point, I hit the Shift key and then the I key. And now that's set the new start point. Now another way to do it is just to move this little slider here left and right until you come to the point where you want it to start. Okay, so now how do you clip the end? Let's move this insertion point over and find a place to end the video. Let's end it right there. I can either hit Shift O, or I can just move this little slider here as I'm doing and set an endpoint that way. And now when I go to play the video, that's all that will show. Now remember, Lightroom is a non-destructive process, so we're not throwing away anything here. It's just when you go to export this video, then it will apply this new set point in and the new out point. It'll also apply any of these quick develop settings that you may have applied to the video. But the original video will never be touched. Okay, a couple other things about working with video in Lightroom. Let's set a new poster frame. What is a poster frame? A poster frame is what shows up as the still in the thumbnail. And a lot of times, if you're, at least for me, a lot of times that poster frame has nothing to do with the video. It's oftentimes just a shot of the ground. So let's make a poster frame that actually tells us something about this video. Let me grab a frame right about there. Okay, so once I've established that as the part of the video that I want to make as my poster frame, I come down here to this icon, click, and then set poster frame. It's that simple. So now when I go into the grid view, as I'll do now, move over to grid view in library. Let's see here. Now that becomes the poster frame. And that's also the poster frame when I export the video and anybody else sees it as a thumbnail. That will be what they see. Okay, let's open up the video again because I want to show you some other cool features. Now, this picture was shot with a Lumix LX7, which is capable of shooting 120 frames per second in high-speed video mode. So I'm getting some action here that I could never have gotten with my DSLR at 5 or even 6 or 10 frames per second. So wouldn't it be cool if I could just grab one of these frames that I like and make a still out of it? Well, I can. So I'm just going to scrub my way through this video to the point where it's just the action I want. And at 120 frames per second, I have a lot of choices here. Let's go ahead and stop right there. And I'm going to grab that. I want to make a still out of it. And there's plenty of resolution. This is high def video, so we have a lot of pixels to work with. I'll come over here to this icon again, and now capture frame. So Lightroom's going to generate a single JPEG frame based on my selection. It will be stacked with the original video, and I'll have access to it, and I can do whatever I want to that JPEG. So let me go ahead and find that JPEG now. It's stacked with the original, so I need to go to the folder where it's at, and the JPEG should then be right next to it. It should show up here in a second, and it is stacked, one of two, and this is my JPEG, and I know it's a JPEG because of the extension. And now I'm going to take this JPEG. I want to show you something really cool. Not only can you use this as a still image, but you can also use this JPEG to create a preset over in the develop module that you can then apply to your video. You can't work on the actual video in the develop module. Let me show you what happens when I try to go to the develop module with the video. It says video is not supported in the develop module. So, okay, there's no way I can make a preset based on the video because I can't get into the develop module with video. But I can go to this JPEG here and I can come over, and remember I can apply like exposure controls. I can convert this to black and white. There's several things that I can do in the develop module that will port over to the video. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me give it a little bit of a tint. Split toning, let's give it some tint here. Maybe warm it up a little. There. Now I'm going to come over on the left side, and I'm in the develop module now, and I'm going to make a preset, and I'm just going to call it, I'll just call it video tinted. All right, and then I'll say create. And now I'm going to go back over to the library module. Just hit the G key, and that'll take me to the grid view. I'm going to select my video. Enlarge that. All right, so I've lost my in and out points. I don't know how that happened. These things happen from time to time. What happened here? So we'll just go ahead and set a new in point. There, and then my out point. Let's see where that will be. So easy to do. Okay, and now I'm going to apply a save preset over here. Remember I called it video tinted. I'm going to select that. And it's just a warning because this is a user-generated preset, but I know I did everything right. I didn't use anything that can't be applied. And you can see now, over here in the navigator at least, that preset has been applied. Let me see why it's not working in the actual video. There we go. And now I'll play this. And you can see how you can apply your own look and feel to video. Let me go ahead and stop that. So when you're ready to share your video and you want to export it, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Select Export. Down here, if I select Include Video Files, I have some choices. I can send the video out in any of these three formats. This is the original unedited file. H.264 will send out an edited version, as will the DPX. And I can also set different quality settings. This is, of course, going to determine how much file size this will take up. But you can make some different choices. And now at this point, since I'm exporting the video, all my changes will be applied to the copy that's made. My original will stay untouched. So the video capabilities of Lightroom are still pretty basic, but they're good enough for many still photographers who want a simple solution to storing and editing all their imaging work. Video is now part of the still photographer's life, and even though the transition from stills to video can take you down a rough road, working with a familiar application like Lightroom will smoothen things out.